Thank you, everyone, for logging in for our very first webinar. The title of this one is Are You Leveraging AI as a Small Business Owner? Real quick on the next slide, it'll show you what the objectives of this webinar is. It's to teach ones to understand the basic concepts of AI, what AI is, what it isn't, how to use it successfully. With regards to that, more specifically, how to market smarter using free AI tools. For the longest time, AI has been available, but it was at a price point that kind of pushed away small businesses or single owner businesses. But now, thankfully, it's not only cheap, but in most cases, there's free tools that can be taken advantage of. So we'll go over some of the free tools that I have used in the past, so that way I can explain a little bit more of how I use them. And then finally, ways to consolidate tasks and save time, because that's really what the point of AI is, right? It's to help you be able to get the most out of what time you have in order to accomplish what your goal is. So to get started, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ashton Fortuna. I'm the senior sales rep for Valley Tech Logic. Um, Part of my job is to show people how they can take advantage of their IT infrastructure that they currently have, or how they could better their IT infrastructure. And nowadays, it does include AI. Whether it's taking advantage of the free AI software that you might have on your computer because you use something like Teams or Outlook, or using other AI features that can help you market your business. And so I started off as a technician, and then I moved into the sales role about a year ago. And so that's kind of an introduction. I have given a very similar lecture at a chamber event, as well as a networking group. So if you were at one of those, this is more of a streamlined version of that presentation. So we'll start off with the first question. What is AI? There you can see on the screen the quick definition. Artificial intelligence is just software trained to recognize patterns and generate useful responses based on input. And it's really those last three words we're going to focus on, right? The based on input. Reason being, in order for AI to work, you need to give it something to work on. You need to input what your goal is. Uh, some people have viewed AI as cheating and using in the work industry, or they've viewed it as a crutch. But really, there's two important ways we want to focus on what AI is and how we can use it. And we'll see that in the next slide. The first is AI helps you to become more quick and efficient. And we could really relate it to walking versus driving, right? There are practical uses to walking. And there are also practical uses of driving. If it's a long distance, obviously driving is going to get you there quicker and more efficiently. It's going to allow you to travel more effectively. Um, Similarly, with AI, AI is going to help you or can help you get tasks done quicker and more effectively. Now, that's not to say you couldn't still quote unquote walk, right? There are people who, as graphic designers, graphic engineers, they prefer that walk. But for those of us who don't have the time or maybe the knowledge, using AI to take advantage of some of those things is going to help us to get our jobs done quicker and more efficiently. But what's important to remember, if you look at the next picture, is you direct, AI produces, right? So you could think of it as sitting on a film set. You might have a lot of people running the show around. You have the producers, you have the screen crew. But at the end of the day, they're all working to complete the vision of the director, right? The director is giving them what they should do, telling them, giving them tasks and how to accomplish or really put together his vision. Well, similarly, when it comes to AI, we direct, we tell AI what we want it to do. And just as there might be edits or cuts, once AI has produced, or whatever tool we're using has produced the image, the document, whatever it is, once it's put it out there, now we can tinker with it a little bit more. Now, certain tools allow us to be more effective in that. Certain tools allow us to be able to go deeper or be able to have more control over the creative process. And we'll go over that a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it all works about the same, right? You give it input and then you direct it on how you want those changes implemented. So how can we use this tool that's effective, that is efficient, and that we get to direct? How can we use these tools, especially free tools, to market smarter? All right. And so today we're going to focus on three main tools: Canva, ChatGPT, and Gemini. The reason why I chose these three, because these are three specific tools that I use on a daily basis. There are definitely others out there that we might be more familiar with, but the same general idea applies. And as we go through each one of these, I'll not only show you the best use cases, what I use it for, but also we'll be able to see what free options are available within each of these tools. So let's start with that first one, Canva. So what is it? It's a design tool with easy drag and drop templates for social media, flyers, logos, and more. All right. So it's beautiful if you are in the process of trying to make a flyer, you're trying to make a logo, you're trying to make something to introduce your company or to brand your company. And here's some of the things you could do with the free version of Canva. Access thousands of templates for Instagram, LinkedIn flyers, and email headers. Use the Magic Write AI feature in Canva Docs for captions, product descriptions, or emails, and resize or brand content quickly without design experience. Now, really, it's that first and the third one that I myself use the most. For example, the access thousands of templates for Instagram, LinkedIn flyers, and email headers. If you're familiar with social media, you'll see that it's almost as if every social media platform needs a different type of image, a different size of image. For example, you might need a 4x3, an 8x11, a 9x16. And it can be frustrating when you make it for one platform and it no longer looks as good on another platform. The beautiful thing about Canva is you tell it what you're making. So it'll say, are you creating for like a LinkedIn post? Are you creating it for an Instagram? And it'll resize that image for you. And it'll allow you to make those edits really quickly. The other thing that's really great is if we are looking at making like, let's say a trifold brochure, if you're using something like Microsoft Word to do that, it can be frustrating trying to get the measurements right. Especially with regards to like how we print it or different things like that. But with Canva, you can see the dimensions right away, right? It'll tell you 8x11 trifold, 9x16 trifold. And this allows you to have not only more creative control, but also like you already know from the get-go that everything you put on it is already the measurements that you want. And then going on to the second point, they use the Magic Write AI feature. This is really great. It's basically like a AI assistant built into Canva that you could ask it questions. You could have it make edits if you don't know how to do it, or help you write with descriptions. Very useful tool. So I use Canva every single day. There's Canva and the next one, ChatGPT. I don't think I've gone a day in the past year without using either or. So let's go to that next one. ChatGPT. What is it? A conversational AI that helps you write, brainstorm, and plan in plain English. In other words, it is a secretary, right? It's a secretary with a lot of access to knowledge. So what can you do with the free version of ChatGPT? Well, first thing, you write social media captions or email drafts, get blog posts, outlines, or marketing ideas, and reword content to sound more friendly, professional, or catchy. So let's start with that first one, the write social media captions. So sometimes what I will do is I'll be stuck in a rut. I'll have an image that I really want to post on LinkedIn, or I really want to post this video on YouTube, and I just have no idea how to caption it to where it's going to resonate with my target audience. Well, uploading that picture or uploading that video, ChatGPT will go through it and say, hey, if you're trying to market towards engineers, if you're trying to market towards um, uh, nonprofit organizations, here's one way you could word it. But going back to the whole you direct it produces thing, make sure you're not just copying and pasting, because what happens is you end up sounding robotic, right? You end up, uh, well, honestly, sounding like other businesses that are just copying and pasting from ChatGPT. The other one is the get blog post outlines or marketing ideas. And I specifically wrote blog post outlines because sometimes we'll go onto a website and we'll see their blog, and sometimes you could immediately tell it was completely written by AI. The choice of words, the emojis strung out through it, even the formatting, you can tell immediately that it was written by AI. So what I've done, obviously, I use it to help brainstorm ideas with what we're going to blog about, but I don't ask it to write it for me, right? So I'll give it a theme, an idea, and I'll ask it to give me an outline. And the best way to think about that is an outline is like our rib cage, right? It's the bones of what the topic is. But we add the meat to it. We add the details. By doing that, it sounds more like us. It sounds less like AI. And we can feel and take pride in the work knowing that we did a majority of it. Yes, we used AI to help us to get that outline, to get those bones, but we did all the heavy lifting as far as the work goes. And then finally, the reword content to sound more friendly, professional, or catchy. For those of you that know me, I don't always sound very professional. I get a little bit loose with my words, and sometimes I get too casual. And so sometimes I like to check myself, especially if I'm corresponding with, a mayor, or if I'm corresponding with somebody on city council. I'm going to want it to sound a little bit more professional. So I might upload that and just go through it and find out, okay, did I do it right? Or I'll just send it to my wife and let her correct it, tell me what I need to do. But those are some of the things that ChatGPT, the free version, you could take advantage of. I actually use the free version for well over a year. I do want to clarify. So for both the Canva and ChatGPT, I now use the paid version. I've I've gotten familiar enough with the free version that what comes with the paid version made it worth it to me. But something like Canva, I mean, I think I just signed up for it last month. So I went over a whole year using the free version, about a year and a half. And then ChatGPT, I'd say I got it about 6 months ago, the paid version. And they're both fantastic. But if you want the free version, you could do so much. Again, everything I'm discussing today is what you can do with the free version of these AI tools. And finally, Gemini. And I feel like this one isn't used and taken advantage of as much as the other two. Especially if you happen to have a Google device. For example, if you have one of the newer Google Pixel phones, you probably have Gemini on your phone for free. You have the good version for free. What is Gemini? It's Google's AI assistant that pulls from real-time Google data and helps with content ideas, SEO suggestions, and summaries. So essentially, it's very similar to ChatGPT, but with the Google search engine baked into it. So what that gives you, as you can see here, what we can do with the free version, ask for trending keywords for your industry, summarize competitor blog posts or articles, and generate website or product descriptions. That first one is the one I use almost every single day. Ask for trending keywords for your industry. Right now, keywords and hashtags are a very popular thing, especially if you use LinkedIn. So LinkedIn used to go by date, right? It organized by when things were posted. Now, because of their new algorithm, it posts things it thinks you want to see first. Even if it was 3 weeks old, if it thinks you want to see that, it's going to put that first. Well, how does it know you might be interested in that? Well, it uses keywords and hashtags. So using something like Gemini, when you're going to post something, to help you curate some hashtags or some keywords to post or to put in your post, will help it get to the eyes you want to see it. For example, we go back to the construction. If I want to make sure that what I'm marketing this month or this quarter gets to as many eyes of office managers or construction owners, I need particular keywords that they're already looking at. Reason being is because it doesn't go by date, and it could go by just the tags or the hashtags. I want to make sure it's as high as possible. Well, using something like Gemini to say, here's the post I'm going to put on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram. What are the trending hashtags for this industry? Allows me to know that I've done everything in my power that I can to make it seen by as many eyes in that industry as possible. This really does help out. And because I used to use ChatGPT for this, but once I switched to Gemini, it really helped a lot. There was obvious increases in viewership, obvious increases in impressions that made it to where now that's all I use now to pull hashtags and keywords is through Google's Gemini. The other thing is summarize competitor blog posts or articles. And I'm actually going to tie that with the next one too, generate website or product descriptions. Because the great thing about this is it will pull, if you give it a website, let's say you go to a blog, and I do read a lot of blogs on a daily basis, but sometimes they're like 3 or 4 pages long, right? It's way too long of a blog. I will actually copy the link, put it into Gemini, and ask it to summarize it for me. Beautiful thing is it's going to cut out all the stuff I don't need, right? It's going to cut out information that doesn't apply, and I'll at least get the basics of what the post is about. And then sometimes I'll read through those summarizations and realize, okay, you know what? I do want to read the whole thing. It does seem interesting enough that I do want to, or sometimes I just want the clip notes. The other thing is pulling stuff from people's websites. So for example, let's say you're going to write an email to somebody. You're going to write a marketing email to one individual rather than using something like Keep or HubSpot to blast an email. Let's say you want to make it very specific. What I've done is I have pulled the website and asked it to pull information from that website regarding that business owner, regarding the office manager, especially if it has something like About Us. If it has an About Us page, it'll pull something from there that might be more appealing, right? And then I'll go through that and decide, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to use this. Oh, this is something we have in common. Or this is an industry we've actually helped before, and we see that they're a client of yours. And you could use them as our reference. By doing stuff like that, again, we're being more efficient and more effective with our marketing. So again, those were the 3 tools, and you'll see them again coming up. And the reason why I have this up here, so consolidate tasks and save time with AI. So kind of going on to that next section about consolidating, making things efficient and effective. I put the picture of those 3 tools on because if we need to put a screw into a wall, isn't it possible we could use all 3 of these tools, right? We can use the screwdriver to get the screw into the wall. We could use the hammer and just beat the screw into the wall. But really, the most effective and efficient way is to use the drill, right? Using the drill allows us to push the screw into the wall effectively and efficiently. I use this illustration to get the point across that every single AI tool can probably do every single thing you want it to do, but some do it better than others, right? I have that quote there. You can use any tool, but choosing the right one makes the job easier and faster. We think of image generation. You can use something like ChatGPT to make a flyer for your business. You can use something like ChatGPT to make an image that you have an idea of in your mind. But using something like Canva is going to give you more creative control. It's going to give you more ability to edit and put more of what you want into the picture. So ChatGPT could do it, just something like Canva can do it better. And so it's as you go through and use these different tools, You really want to take note of which one of them gets what you want out of it, right? Which one of these helped me the most? Because you might say, well, I don't have time for Canva, so I do want to use ChatGPT. That's absolutely fine. If that's the tool that's right for you, that's the one you should use. Whatever is effective and efficient. Again, they're all free, so you don't have to worry about having any money invested into it. And so now you just want to make sure the tool is working for you. So here are what I use each one of these services for. So again, all three of them could probably do all three of these things, but each one to me has its place. For example, Canva. I use it to repurpose one post into multiple formats. Again, going back to the every social media has a different requirement of the image or the size. Using Canva allows me to quickly edit and make changes to the size and the format, which allows me to post it on multiple sites. Use AI Magic to write and generate headlines, call to actions, or product blurbs. So if let's say I created an image I really like, and there's some text on there, a call to action I want, and I just don't know what that call to action should be, well, I can use Magic AI to put that call to action on there for me. And then finally, create a month's worth of graphics in a few hours using templates. Because of my role at the company, I'm primarily on the road, but I do handle a lot of the marketing as well. And so I needed to balance those two things. So every time I have an opportunity, I'm in the office, I will create multiple forms of marketing, multiple banners, different advertisements. So that way, when the time comes and I need to pull something from it, it's right there in a file and I just pull it, upload it. And Canva allows me to create multiple sources at once. And then I can use it to use ChatGPT to write responses to common questions, to draft agendas, which is probably what I use it the most for, to help me with my agendas for our networking group as well as for my sales meeting. And then create standard operating procedures. By doing that, by using it to create standard operating procedures, that's another area where you want to make sure that you're directing it and it's just producing. Because if you let it do it itself and don't double check your work, you might find yourself in a little bit of a pickle. And then finally, what I use the mostly for Gemini is to generate bullet lists from long articles or PDFs. Again, going back to that, pulling information from blogs, research competitor topics and ask Gemini to simplify them. That's always a great one. And then summarize long emails into action steps. Sometimes, as part of my work, we do RFPs and RFQs. And so in order to fill them out correctly, they will send us an email that has like everything they require. Using something like Gemini to simplify that, like, okay, can you break it down into the 10 things that need to be done in one sentence? And then as you go through them, you can double check and make sure everything is being filled out that needs to be filled. All right, as the seminar or the webinar comes to a conclusion, these are the three things I really hope you got out of this, right? The first one is you're the director, right? Just because you use some AI tool doesn't make it to where you didn't work. It doesn't make it to where you cheated. Doesn't necessarily mean you took a shortcut. You did direct it. You asked it to do something. You took advantage of a tool that is available to you, but you still have to be the director. You have to tell it what to do. Secondly, there are free tools out there. I talked about in the beginning how at one point these tools have been around forever, but it wasn't cost effective to small business owners. Not only is it now cost effective, I mean, it's simply free. ChatGPT's free version is amazing. Canva's free version is amazing. Gemini is great, their free version. So take advantage of these free tools. And then the last one, not one size fits all. Just because it can do something doesn't make it the right tool to do it. So figure out what works best for you. And just because I mentioned those three, Canva, ChatGPT, and Gemini, doesn't mean those are the only three tools out there. There's literally hundreds of different AI platforms that you could take advantage of. So figure out which one works best for you. And then on top of that, I wanted to give everybody an actionable item. So the actionable item I put on here is replace one competitive 30-minute task with AI. For example, whether it's drafting a client email, designing a flyer, or summarizing a meeting. After this, I will be sending out everybody who was on a summary of this meeting, and that'll actually be produced by AI. And then you can use whatever tool you want to pull what you want from that information. Now, remember, it says replace one repetitive 30-minute task with AI. It might initially take you more than 30 minutes to fulfill that task using AI, but as you use it more, you're going to get quicker at it. You're going to know which tool you want to use, and you're going to know how to direct that tool to accomplish what you're trying to get done. But just make sure it's going to be something in the end that is effective and efficient. Because if we're turning a 30-minute task into an hour task and we're not getting any quicker with it, then maybe it's time to either A, use another platform, or B, use it for another reason. So I hope those are the three things you took away from this meeting. And I just want to thank everybody for joining. I appreciate it. It was our very first webinar.